ABC John, line 5, make your point. Go ahead, please.
Dr. Savage, you're a very book smart man, but I didn't realize that you were this insensitive when it comes to human beings. Now, let me explain. I don't.
Well, you're okay. You took a shot at me. Now go ahead. Follow up because your shot didn't even hit me. Go ahead.
I have respect for you, but I don't care about right-wing, left-wing stuff. They're one and the same, and you and I agree on that.
Well, they're not one and the same. No, they're not one and the same. One loves borders, language, and culture. One hates them. But go on.
You care about animals. I care about animals. We're on the same page. We care about our...
So, okay, you're setting the groundwork. What's your point, though?
Why do you worry about elephants more than human beings that are trying to be with their families? That's my point.
That's one of the stupidest arguments I've ever heard. You must be really brain dead. So let me put it around. Let me turn it around. So you'd like to see a beautiful, noble creature like the elephant slaughtered so the people in China can have bric-a-brac on their cabinet wall, on their cabinets?
No, that's not. Don't misinterpret or spin what I'm saying.
No. Well, what are you trying to do to me? What are you trying to do to me, Mr. Steamfitter? With your basic New York longshoreman accent? You're telling me I shouldn't care about animals? I say you're wrong. I don't want to be part of the generation that saw great creatures decimated and disappeared from the earth. If you do, then it's a mark on your soul, not on mine. Now what? You want me to open my borders to everyone who shows up with a child? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that we should put children before animals.
Well, let's put the animals aside. We just covered that. You want us to open our borders to every immigrant who shows up with a child. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying to be smart about it, but don't separate children from their parents.
Well, you just said the same thing in two different ways. So all an immigrant has to do now is take a child to the border and automatically they're citizens? Is that what you're suggesting?
I think those people are running from...
You're not answering my question, Mr. Longshoreman. I said, any immigrant who shows up now with a child should automatically be granted citizenship. Is that what you're arguing?
Let me tell you this.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, Mr. Longshoreman. That's what you're suggesting, Mr. Longshoreman.
These people are coming from hostile countries. They're being...
I just said to you, are you suggesting that we eliminate all immigration policy and that any time someone shows up with a child, bingo, they get a green card?
I tell you to bring them in and protect them from what they're running from. So that
hold it now. How many of them? How many?
It takes, Dr. Savage, because...
I said how many? Give me an answer.
I don't care. As many people we can save, we got to save.
So in other words, 100 million. So let's say 50 million come in from China with children. We should take them all in?
We should, because they're killing babies in China. If you have a baby...
Oh, so you want 50 million from China. How many from El Salvador?
As many as we could save.
How many from El Salvador? How many from Nicaragua?
As many as we could...
How many from Africa?
Let me tell you something.
No, let me tell you something, Mr. Longshoreman. What if an ISIS member shows up with a child? Should we let them in?
The child is not ISIS.
I asked you a question. Now answer a question or you've had your dance in the sun, and no one will ever hear from you again. You'll have to go back to saluting the Hitler photo in your basement. I asked you again, what if an ISIS member shows up at the border with a child with a full Muslim gear and everything else? Should we let them in?
No terrorists allowed. You know
what? Wait, say that again.
No terrorists allowed.
Well, how do you know if there are terrorists if I just disclosed to you that 60,000 immigrants with arrest records, including 10 accused of murder, have been allowed to stay in the United States under the Obama-era DACA program? You didn't know that, did you?
Dr. Sav, you are keeping me on the phone and asking me these questions because you know I'm right. You know I'm right.
No, it's because you're a dummy. You're an absolute dummy. You sound like a man who has a potato sack over his head. Did you hear what I just said to you? I said to you, 60,000 people came in under DACA who have arrest records.
Hey, listen, Sav.
All right, that's enough already with the Eddie. They're getting very smart, the left. They're mimicking the accent of the working class man in order to undermine America. They're very smart. I got to give that guy a hand. That was good practice. There was a classic effete snob from Harvard University pretending to be a man of the people. Hey, let me tell you, Savage, as many as want to come in here, we got to save them from the death squads. I don't want to bring in death squads, Schmendrick. You don't even understand what you're saying. So let's see. We open up the borders now to anyone who shows up with a child on their hand. Does it mean that it's their child? We don't care. So let's say it's a member of a dangerous MS-13 gang with tattoos on his eyeballs. And what, he's got a child on his hand, now we let him in? Do we let him in with his guns and his knives or not? Oh, well, we have to leave the guns and knives on the other side of the border. But we have to give them a green card. You people are so stupid, it's frightening. This is what's called an emotional message. You're falling for the messaging. It's always the same. Hillary used it for years. Remember, it was always about the children? Well, they found a way to get to the idiots now. They're telling you it's about the children. It's always about the children. So if an MS-13 gang member wants to come in, he could bleach the tattoos off his neck and hold on to a child's hand and come in with his 14-year-old wife or whatever. That's what you want in the country? That's the future of America? How dumb can you be? Now, you know